not a theme park, but an entire world.
You and everyone you know were built to gratify the desires of the people who pay to visit your world.
Just don't forget, they're not real.
Why Apocalypse sucks?
Why? I mean, you mean A? I can't say it as a Iraqi name.
No one can. They just give us symbols. Remember?
Yes, I'm halfway through the 10 lives and 10 deaths of Wolverine, so I'm catching up.
Oh, you're reading that?
Mm-hmm. I mean, so far it's fine. I just want to, good.
I've gone back and I'm trying to read Ten of Swords, but I downloaded all of them and I just don't know. Like, I'm trying to get the order, so I have to go back in my paperbacks and be like, okay, this is 6 of 22, this is 7 of 24, whatever. And I'm like, gosh,
it doesn't say on the cover. That's right.
Right.
Oh.
So when I start a book each time, I'm like, okay, wait, I didn't leave off there. That makes no sense. I'm like, wait, why is Apocalypse dead now? Wait, nope, he's alive again.
Now remember, also they don't always make sense the way they flow.
True, yeah.
Like it can also just be like, well, why are they dancing now? What?
Yeah,
because that's how it
exactly
rolls. But I'm trying to wrap up that so I can catch up. The goal is to catch up before Hellfire Gala.
Is that again this year?
Yeah, they're doing it every year, and I think this one is going to be Moira is living in Mary Jane's skin and is going to sneak in that way.
Mary Jane
Watson.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Moira.
I don't know if that's literal.
Just I want to give you some decent points. You go.
I don't know if that's figurative or literal. I don't know.
Wait,
I know.
I'm so curious. I missed the beginning of this. What happened?
We're talking X-Men.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Now I just messed something up, and now I can't hear. That's on me.
You weren't meant to.
Oh wait, that's my output.
It's Xavier.
Yeah, that's your output. Yeah, nice.
I just.
All right, I'm back now.
I follow X-Men Twitter pages, whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess Destiny has some more bad omens for Krakoa.
I mean, all Destiny has is bad omens. But then again, she can also be like, well, that's not what I meant. Like, Destiny is like the ultimate.
I really hate
power.
Or she's also like, it's like, if you go that way, there's going to be a monster that eats you. So you should go that way. And there's no monster that way. She just wants you to go that way because she knows that way is how you succeed and she fails. So
yeah, she also, if she doesn't like you, she will just lie. Like she has
the only thing I do honor, respect her for and like her about is her hate for Gambit.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well, because that's the only thing she's honest about. Like, she will tell him, I don't like you. You shouldn't be here.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
I mean,
you love Gambit.
Nobody likes.
No, I love Gambit. I'm saying
nobody likes the guy stooping their daughter.
Yeah.
Grand or what?
No daughter. Destiny's just.
Well, no, Destiny. No, Destiny's not her. Wait, I'm sorry. Maybe
Rogue.
I missed it because
is Rogue is Destiny's daughter.
Like legitimate, like
adopted. Like
okay,
Mystique and Destiny. Adopted Rogue.
Steve? No, Raven.
Steve Raven.
Mystique.
Steve Raven. I said Mystique. My mic was cut out.
Okay.
Mystique, just like Steve, adopted.
No, because she goes by Raven. That's
Raven
also
Simone.
Raven. Okay, so Mystique, yes, they adopted her. But I wanted to be clear because there's so many different levels to what goes on in the X-Men that I'm like, wait, is she a Summers? Like, what's going to happen?
Don't say that because they're going to make it so.
Everyone's a Summers.
I mean,
look,
it's the Skywalkers of the.
What about Adam X the Extreme?
I mean, technically, they went back and he is a Summers, but then they were all made to forget.
Wait, Adam X is?
From the X-Men
Legends.
Yeah.
Where old creators get to wrap up stuff.
Yeah, it's an alternate storyline, so it's not part of the Prime line. So
have they clarified that?
I think they have. Yeah.
I last I checked, they had not clarified. Like, so is this canon? Are we supposed to
I guess there's no. I mean, I get that's the thing is like they. To my understanding, the inception of the series was that it's just like, hey, this is what they like the finishing of the storylines that people had to initially put out there, kind of like the Chris Claremont 97 series, like when he did his like this is what I would have done,
and everyone went like, oh, that sucked. I'm glad you
like, oh yeah, I'm glad Jim Lee came in here and made this stuff awesome.
Your stuff was good in the 80s, but you took a turn. You soured.
I mean, just like Scott Lobdell, where you're like, hey, yeah, this is all awesome. And then you're like, oh, he's very 90s and will never leave there because he's just like, yeah, boobies. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, those aren't big enough. Those aren't big
Yeah.
enough. Bigger. Campbell C. Scott or C. Scott, whatever his name is. Get in here.
J. Scott
Just help
Campbell.
draw
Jay
these
Scott,
boobs.
yeah.
Thank you.
J. Scott Campbell. Yep.
Draw 'em
Broken backs
bigger.
and big boobs.
And yeah.
Nothing's
that's
hotter
it.
than a spinal injury.
And that's how we got New 52 Starfire. So yeah, there's definitely, he maybe needs to be like, you know, either he can retire with his big bags of money that he's made from comics, or, you know, moderately sized bags of money and go into editorial or something, or let somebody else write him, you know, let's.
Yeah.
Or he can just keep doing what he's doing, right?
I mean, apparently that's no one who does anything is that like, no. Yeah. Everyone's stuck in their loop.
Yes.
Speaking of loops,
This thing sucks.
we're here to talk about.
We're here to discuss Westworld.
Oh no, I was
Not
talking about Fruit Loops and the
Fruit
our
Loops.
new sponsor, Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon offers you fantastic cereals,
Knock off Fruit Loops.
knock off Fruit Loops, knock off Golden
Fruit-
Grams, and all the best.
Those are fruit holes. It's different.
Yeah.
Wait, are
So
we
just
just going to
fruity-
discuss
fruity
best
pebbles?
round cereals instead? Because we can just go best round cereals. Apple
I mean,
Jacks,
that's an epic.
Kicks.
Cheerios.
Kicks.
Kicks are kid tested and mother approved, so there is that.
Man,
I love how they're kid tested. They're not kid approved though.
no, they're kid tested. They failed. But the moms are like, yeah, this is great. Shoving their pie holes.
If we're gonna talk about cereal, we should talk about Ghostbusters.
Wait,
One of the best
Is
cereals
that
on
in
the
a
market.
plastic bag?
Yeah, it's actually a box from like 80.
Wait, is there actual cereal in it?
85. No, it's empty. It's just
Yeah.
it's one of the original, like back in the
That's pretty
80
cool.
in 85.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Now-
maybe a friend of the pod, Matt Powers from Comics Tunes and Toys. You know, check him out on Instagram. He had this box and he's like, hey, you're a big Ghostbusters fan. I'm like, I am. I'd love some Ghostbusters cereal.
But
Was
then you
there
just get your
cereal when
box.
you got the box?
No, it was empty too. It was empty still. He'd already
Ah.
had it bagged up.
Does anyone now,
shafted.
if you really want to impress me, you will pull out the Mario and Legend of Zelda cereal box. Do it, baby. Do
Ooh.
it. Ah, 'cause- and by the way,
That
that,
would've been cool.
cereal was delightful. That was
Was
good. 2 bags. Yeah, you got less cereal because it was 2 separate bags, but that shit was good.
Yeah. I don't remember the taste of it, to be honest with you. I remember the box though.
I don't remember the actual taste. I remember
Because it's
sugar
like
and it being good.
the middle thing, yeah. The good thing is
Gotcha.
those that do the magic of editing, that Cream's already going to have an image floating by the screen thanks to
Yeah.
the magic of editing.
Oh, hold on.
No,
I'm
no.
gonna-
It's I'm gonna do like I did last time.
Ow!
It's just
Trying to eat it.
file not found. Or
It's
I'm just
messed
gonna do
up.
a steal of Scrubs.
I still need to find
Waiting-
that clip.
Yeah, still waiting on that.
There's no clip.
There's a
I
clip
figured
that
as much.
No clip.
exists.
Yeah. Okay.
Be
Sure, why
where
not?
it's leave.
What exists? Nothing exists.
Exactly. That's because it's all in your head. Because Westworld is just the Matrix, is Westworld is cereal.
I love how we keep getting on and off this off freeway of Westworld.
I like that I want to like give us options to go in unless something steers us to more an interesting topic like round cereals.
I mean, once we get sort of, well, I think that's what we say for the Magic Spoon episode. Like once we get sponsored by Magic Spoon,
Yeah.
that's when we
Which
like, hey
Magic
guys,
Spoon episodes.
I'm in.
I mean,
I'm down.
let's start talking to
Look.
Magic Spoon.
If you,
All right.
I'm down to do a cereal fight. We can do this.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
bring
yeah.
back that crack-headed frog from the Smacks.
What do kids think about my Kellogg Smacks?
Sorry, Diggum. I think we all have to agree. They look kind of weird.
Uh-oh.
Very scary.
Scary looking. Honey Smacks are the fun-tasting part of a complete breakfast. Won't you give them a chance?
Hey, guys, let's try them. Excellent. Killer.
Yeah!
Awesome.
They dig 'em.
Dig 'em. We dig 'em.
Look, he just wants a taste, man. Just wants a little taste. Yep, there it is. That's the picture. Ken has
Nice.
sent us an image of the cereal box. It was the best.
It's basically just a screenshot of the games.
I like that it's
Yeah.
Nintendo cereal system. Like it's a system for
See?
cereals.
I mean, technically,
Oh,
it's a system in
don't
that
worry.
they are boxed and there are 2 bags.
The cereal broke down too, just like the system did.
You just blow on your cereal to get it started.
The Duck Hunt one they had to get rid of because they couldn't afford that much duck. It's just expensive meat.
That asshole dog kept leaving treats in the bottom.
Oh no, son of a bitch.
The crazy thing to me is that there's a bunch of different boxes and they have different images from the different games. And I'm like, was that different regions, or was it just like they printed off like they had a run of 4 different images and just kind of like that's the way they printed it? I'm very curious about this now.
Now I just want cereal though. Damn it. This is cereal talk. We can't yet. We don't have Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon. Give us monies. Or just cereal.
Yeah.
Just give us cereal.
I mean, that's part of the deal. They probably like, you know, they do hook up so you can speak to its authenticity that you love. The new, you know, the new peanut butter flavor.
Nintendo can give a cereal too.
I mean, it's that problem because
cinnamon rolls.
I'm probably wait. This is becoming a Built Bar ad really quick. These flavors are.
Before I go to sleep on my Casper mattress, I do enjoy a nice bowl of cereal. And
as you wear your bonobos.
As I wear my Bombas. No.
Have you guys? But I mean, you got them because they mailed them to you from stamps.com. Let's talk about stamps.com real quick.
I don't think stamps.com's had a commercial in like 8 years.
They are still doing it.
That's like real to me. Podcast too.
I think that they owned enough of the older Nerdist brand, so like they still have all those old ads running. Like we don't need to pay for anything else. Like the archive of Nerdist has got us covered.
I am convinced Spotify is secretly owned by stamps.com or by the US Postal Service, and it was all just a ruse.
I'm sure it's bundled into PayPal somehow. Is that where all like weird tech startups roll into? PayPal.
Yeah, eventually.
PayPal
and Square.
4%. Go fuck yourself.
I had I work with different companies and stuff like that, and one of the people called in like, well, how do I take care of that charge part? Do I just charge my clients another 75 cents? And I'm like, you just eat it, dude. Like that's
hey man,
that's what
you do you. You want to charge your clients more?
Yeah, you can charge them another fee. That's on you. But like, there's no like, here, this is how you make. You don't pay for the fees.
Hey, listen here, kid marks. I'm not eating anything.
That's what the DMV does. Extra 2.3%, baby. You want to use your credit card? Processing fee, motherfucker.
$3 flat.
No. 2.3%. They're not taking any cuts.
Exactly.
What if your registration is $600? No. It's all wrong.
True. Fair enough. Smart way to do business.
Yeah, that's because it's run by machines.
Trying to get back in the street.
I just give another off ramp. Just another one. No takers. Just gonna move.
I'll take it.
Go for it.
Let's start talking about. I think what was the tentative title for this episode was I called it Terminator 6: Rise of the Synthetics.
Okay.
I'm basing it off of season 3 mostly.
I feel like you also threw in some Fallout in there, like synths. Like, oh, it's okay.
Is that what they're called?
They're called synths in Fallout 4.
Yeah, Fallout, and also Wasteland.
I think
as well. Yeah, because one spawned the other. Yeah,
fair enough.
I don't think they exist in Fallout 76. So
nothing exists in there.
No, just like a lot of radiation.
Bad gameplay.
How dare you? They fixed it.
just
like all games.
Just like Cyberpunk.
They fixed that too. Just like every game. Every game gets fixed 4 months after launch. That's how you launch a game now.
It's a 4-month window.
Yeah, you throw a piece of crap out there, then you take 4 months to correct it. And by then everyone's moved on, but you have their monies. Now you don't have to pay for the server space because nobody's playing because it was bad to start, but you still got all that sweet money.
Stop bullying Marvel. Okay. They tried with the Avengers.
I was really just going after EA in general, to be honest.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's in the game. And by that, I mean credit card fees.
Oh, okay. There it is. Westworld's perspective. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're looking for it in the OneNote?
Yeah. I found it.
Cool. All right.
So the wonder that is Westworld, which, for those that do not know, when we are recording, episode 1 of season 4 debuted 2 days ago. So I'll give you a little point on when we are actually recording this. So
I think all of us have seen it. So spoiler alerts, we will be ruining that episode.
Yeah. And the rest of the series. Everything we've seen up to that point. If you haven't seen it, guess what? This is not going to go well for you. No spoilers for the movie, the original movie. We won't be discussing that, I don't believe.
No,
maybe. Looks like Ken wants to. All right, spoilers for the movie too.
It's like I say, there's some overlap, but it's all good. I mean, okay. We can discuss that another time.
Technically, there is overlap, but it's the show's gone far enough off on its own that I think we can.
Maybe a little too far. Some of us would argue.
Just a hater gonna hate, man.
Yeah, it sounds like. I mean, all right. So let's. So that's a downvote to the tired giant. Yeah. He's like, no, I say the nay. I got a new fancy camera and a new fancy boom arm, but I say no to these synthetics. That's what Kareem has to say. He says these hosts are bullshit while I use all my technology that I love.
Yeah, that's basically their arms and legs.
I shall have such revenges on you both.
I would say we should at least start off with, I don't know if you guys want to do like just a quick.
Oh, let's do a queef.
Quick or brief recap of the seasons.
I think
thus far.
That. All right. Yeah. Well, Kareem, you want to start off with season 1?
Yeah, the OG season, which what? You want to recap season 3?
No, just mainly, exactly, because I don't want to get stuck with season 3 because that's the most convoluted.
I'll take season 3. I'll take season 3.
I'm like, wait, I don't want this to go down because season 3 is, oh my god, I'm still enjoying the show, but it is a lot in season 3. Yes, I am.
I will say total shift.
Yes,
I'm going to say total shift.
Yes and no. Like there's still an underlying theme across the entire series, and I get it, but there are a lot of moving pieces, and some of those pieces get renamed, but they're the same piece, and it's tough. And it's just like, oh wait, okay, so
you're you, but you're you, and you don't know you're you, but you think you're you, but you're having a crisis because you're pretending not to be you.
Are you or are you the other you?
Like, I'm a Cylon.
Oh,
and in the end, even if you are you, it doesn't matter because you were going to do the same things you were going to do anyway.
I mean, if that's what Solomon says, but I prefer to believe what Rehoboam says. So
which says you'll probably do this. So fuck it.
All right, I'm gonna use the Wikipedia's recap for season 1 just so I'm not winging stuff too much.
Okay.
Westworld.
It was just us individually that we have a script to steal from.
Well, I mean, I could say it like it's basically following the breadcrumbs from the movie, and where you're basically introduced into a world, it's kind of like a Disneyland of robots that people can kind of go in and interact with on a very visceral level. For the most part, a lot of people do a lot of weird things in these areas because it's for rich people who can pay to play. But for more of the detail, Westworld's co-founder Robert Ford influenced a change in the host's programming ostensibly as part of a new narrative for the park. As we mentioned, Westworld is a park, but it's meant to encourage the park's oldest operating host, Dolores Abernathy, to find the proverbial center of the maze, which represents the ability to achieve sentience. And like we said, he's the co-founder is played by I'm drawing a blank for his name, Anthony Hopkins, I believe, and he's the guy that's kind of like
Tony Hopkins to his friends.
Fair
Tony,
enough.
hey Tony,
Tony Hopper.
He's got a lot of New York friends. Is he British? I don't know what his accent is. Do any of you guys know what Anthony Hopkins is?
I don't. I mean,
I know he's knighted, right?
I think he's British.
I mean, yeah. I guess if he's knighted, he
might
has
be
to
one
be
of
British.
the colonies.
Okay, fair enough. Host sentience was the goal of deceased co-founder Arnold Weber and later Ford himself. Other hosts are affected by this change, creating confusion among the park staff and guests, and leading the Delios board to doubt Ford's ability to run the park. So they basically call it a vote of no confidence, kind of get him out of the way. And I think he eventually ends up going into the park. And this is a whole weird way that they get in and out of the park through host and whatnot. Last part of this is Dolores does ultimately gain sentience, and at a celebration within the parks attended by Delios board family members, Ford announces his new narrative, a revolt by the host against the human staff and park guests, which starts Dolores killing Ford and slaughtering many of the panic party guests. So that's kind of, I think, the first half of, or first 2/3 of the show. And then I think the last third is basically his assistant, I guess is what you would call Bernard. I don't know what you.
No, he wasn't an assistant. He was the, like, I believe, director of, like, he's the director
park,
right? of hosts infrastructure, like the kind of their framework. He was in charge of their framework, not necessarily the narrative, because that was a different person who controlled the story. And also that was what Ford had done. Ford was the lead developer on narrative, and then there are other sub stories, because there are so many deep contextual stories running all at one time. You'd have like one main vein of story, and then as was branched off for other characters, they could have their own sub narratives. And so Ford was that main like tree trunk, and then they had now I'm forgetting names. That's why we have an awesome doc, and that's where you had Lee Sizemore, who was in there adding additional storylines, and then he would have those reformatted by Ford.
But I was trying to think of what was Bernard's exact thing. Was it repairing the host, or just maintaining their
capability? Yeah, maintaining their capabilities in terms of the
software,
the mental framework,
making
because
sure they didn't become sentient.
Oh, okay, there you go.
That
yes,
in theory.
In theory, yeah. Because his was too, is just like, he was trying to, like, he was always fascinated with the new things that would be rolled out by Ford. He's like, that's a new thing. It's the Reverie, like these things, which we would later on, I mean, I guess we're talking spoilers. He would later on find that parts of this were actually his own coding, because is it by the end of season 1 we find out that, yes, we do. Within season 1 we find out that Bernard is also a host.
Yeah.
And he is essentially a reproduction of the original Ford's original partner, Albert.
Yes.
Albert?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Arnold.
And Arnold saying, thank you. I knew it was an A, because it's like, it's A and B. It's like, he's like, oh, you're the next iteration. And I'm like, right. Oh, that's so messed up, but also like, I like the symmetry there, but I'm also like, yeah, it's still messed up. But yeah, I forget where I cut in there, but yeah, that's essentially where we kind of start to see different people's response. Oh, because we just asking what was Bernard's role. Bernard was there to maintain the mental frameworks of the hosts.
Phew.
Yeah, and as I was mentioning, like the first 2/3 is like the conversations going back and forth between Bernard and Ford. We also and the kind of course that Dolores is going on. But then in the background of all of this is Maeve and the rest of the Westworld narrative, which is, again, in Westworld. It's, at least the first season, is mostly focused on that Wild West theme. We go into the other worlds in the second season.
For clarity, that is Westworld, because the other branches of the park are separately named. So it is just the Westworld park that we experienced in the first one. Okay,
not to be confused with the title of the shows that I meant, though.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you were worried about the East World and then the War World.
No, but I'm just saying this main one that we're in is Westworld, which is a Western themed. In case anybody's never, they're like, oh, what is Westworld? It's the Western themed version of this park, and there are other ones, and it's just it also happens to be the title of the show.
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones was actually just the name of the first book. It's actually called The Song of Ice and Fire. It's the same kind of goofiness, but it makes total sense once you get into it. So
exactly. And then, like I said, not to be outdone, there's also Maeve, which we'll get into, I guess, more in season 2, but she does have a pronounced function really in season 1, which is, I think she finds, I don't know if she reaches sentience before Dolores does. It feels like she does, though.
There's a war out there.
You know the enemy intimately. I can only fathom the revenge that lives inside of you.
Revenge? It's just a different prayer at their altar, darling. And I'm well off my knees.
That's because you're finally free. But we will have to fight to keep it that way.
And let me guess. Yours is the only way to fight. You feel free to command everybody else.
Try it, Lawman.
I'm curious about that, because there's something that kind of like I'm puzzled by, because there is the level that Dolores had achieved sentience, or
Well, there's a question if Dolores did, because Dolores has basically two personalities in her. Her personality is combined with the Wyatt personality, who was supposed to be the big bad that they were working on. So there's a question as to whether she actually is sentient or if she's still on a loop. And then we just kind of assume she's sentient after a while and go, nope, we're done.
Well, yeah, and part of that is because of what Arnold had essentially put into her and said, like, oh, and the reformatting and what that had triggered. And so with the essentially when Ford initiates the reveries, which I think is kind of, we're led to believe that that's the crux of kind of, that's the switch point in which a lot of the hosts start to turn or start to have that break. With that, so you have, I think his intended thing was to trip Dolores. I think Maeve is a ghost of the machine. I think Maeve's, because her switch is different. It's like, oh, she can actually like broadcast and communicate with other hosts differently than Dolores can. Dolores has a different kind of like power set, I guess is the best way to put it. And
well, I agree with you. I think from my perspective, and again, I might just be misremembering season 1. I think Dolores becomes sentient within the system. Maeve becomes sentient because she wakes up outside of the system, and then she gets put back in.
Yeah,
like Dolores doesn't come out of Westworld until much later in the season 1, I believe. If then, I think she might still be stuck in season 2. So Maeve goes in and out of the system in season 1, and that's where she wakes up and is like, wait, there's robots outside of the park, and then they put her back in, and she still retains that knowledge, which gives her the sentience within the system as well.
I think there's a discussion. I'm sorry to cut you off real quick, Pat. I think there's a discussion where you're saying they're in the system. You're saying that they're in the system or out of the system.
In the park. I'm sorry.
Okay. Because okay. Well, but the park, because it is an island, or at least it's located within a certain centralized space, they're always within the park. So it's the matter of her be either whether she's inside the streets.
We see Maeve outside of the Westworld portion of the park, where she Maeve has interactions with the techs that are actually techs that are actual quote unquote real people in the background, and they start doing things like something triggers in her, and I can't remember what. It's been long enough since I've seen it, but basically she then starts changing her functionality, giving herself what amounts to superpowers.
Yeah, she comes back online while she's on the repair table.
Yeah,
and that's when one of the techs who happened to be trying to take a dalliance into programming himself to try and change his position. Like, oh, if I can learn how to program, I can try and apply for another job. Yeah, which can definitely come back in season 3 as part of an underlying point of someone who's trying to better themselves and trying to make a step up, and how that's to a certain degree frowned upon because he shouldn't have the little bird that he's trying to program, and it lands on her finger. And that's one of the times where she wakes up, and then she gains access to that programming pad.
Yeah.
So
then I guess that'll roll in this Pat's breakdown of season 2. I didn't mean to cut you off.
So
no, it's okay.
No. Ken's doing season 2. I'm season 3. We're not making Ken do season 3.
You get the clusterfuck.
Well,
good.
I thought we were gonna try and explain it ourselves, and I'm like, I can't explain season 3. I can, but I need a whiteboard and
it's gonna
D&D miniatures,
red string.
Yeah, this is the moment where you have the insert from It's Always Sunny, where it's just like, oh yeah.
I love put that in there because Ken always has an explanation that's 2 minutes long, and you have to follow up the thread.
Basically, if we were going to do an explanation of season 3, it would be supplemental material and would be a separate podcast you have to listen to, citing your sources.
Yeah, it's a Silmarillion. It's what it is.
Exactly.
Footnotes.
All
right. So season 2 recap.
All right, so season 2, and these are some really short recaps. They are just
the barest of
boats.
Yeah,
we can fluff it out like we did, but it's just
call the fluffers.
After killing Dr. Ford at the end of season 1, Dolores converts and leads the other host in killing many of the other guests in the few weeks that follow. She seeks to find a way to get out of the park to continue her revenge, and knows she must recover her father's Peter's pearl to do so and unlock Westworld's true secrets with it. Charlotte Hale, who was attempting to smuggle Westworld data through Peter, also seeks the host as she cannot call for extraction without that data. Bernard still struggles with the fact that he is a host and comes to learn that Dr. Ford still has significant influence on him and the park. Maeve is aided by Lee and Hector to find her daughter while learning there are many other parks to Westworld. The Man in Black is forced to come to terms with why he has spent so much time in the park when he encounters his daughter, Emily Grace.
Yeah, I didn't mention in season 1, but one of the other main characters, aside from Maeve and Dolores and Bernard, is Men in Black, which is played by Ed Harris.
And I don't remember the name. And one of the dumb brothers from Always Sunny.
I got him listed in here. Hold on a second.
He plays William. That's the thing too. Is like he
plays a younger version of him, basically.
So the first season of Westworld does kind of what The Witcher did, and it's playing with time. So you're seeing things happening. You don't know what order they're happening in, but you can figure it out. It's not rocket science.
Well, no, you're led to believe that they're somewhat congruent.
Yeah.
And that there is a little bit of like some mixed up, but it is not as a drastic time jump as you are led to believe initially.
No,
like,
there's two main timelines you're watching, and then a bunch of side stuff that kind of plays in between.
Yeah.
The side stuff that plays in between really revolves around Bernard slash Arthur, basically. But William, the Man in Black, you see his early interactions with Dolores and why he's become just the biggest douchebag on the planet when he goes to Westworld.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And I mean,
you also see. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say that there's that great moment too, where you're getting semi-introduced to the park as William gets introduced to the park, and like they're like, oh, do you want to wear a white hat or black hat? And like there's your choice. Like, are you playing the game? Are you playing the game as a Paragon, or are you playing it as a rogue? Or I'm trying to think what the other term is in Knights of the Old Republic. It's like Paragon and bad guy, asshole.
Technical term.
Yeah, and so it's like that's a question is put to you very early on, and it's kind of interesting because later on they obviously still play with that device later on as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as you said, in season 2 we get way more killing, because season 1 basically is a bunch of questions. Everyone's sitting around going like, who am I? What is this? Where do I do? Where do I go from
What does
here?
it mean to be?
Season 2 is just shoot everything that moves. And Dolores does an awesome job of that. Like you get Dolores as the victim, a reoccurring victim, because of the way the game is played by basically everyone. Just everyone tortures this woman. And so they flip that in season 2, or at least that they start at the end of season 1 and it goes all the way into season 2 where she
I would say something important to remember in all of this is that the people that are going to Westworld are the super rich and influential. And in season
sick fucks.
Yeah. And basically that's exactly it. Because in season 3, when we're in the real world, we'll see Dolores interact with people that maybe aren't so rich and powerful. And the power dynamic is real and kind of plays out repeatedly. Every time they flash back to something happening in the park, it's always some rich fucking shit up.
Yeah, that's again, I don't know if that was emphasized when I did my recap or even when Ken did his, but these hosts, which are basically the robots, are tortured basically, and it becomes even more apparent when some of them get sentience, because they're now aware that their lives are limited. Like the stories or the ideas that they had in their heads were all just kind of placed there, and they're basically there to die, get assaulted physically or mentally, and then repeat that same loop over and over for different people, for different guests or people who visit the park. So there is a begrudging relationship between the host and the humans. And when they figure out that they are being used, you can start to see how they react to that going into season 2 and 3.
Which it's worth mentioning that the reveries that we mentioned earlier, they're part of those reveries are built off of the unlocking of previous memories that they've associated with. So it's like, after having been killed 13 times in that bar, they sort of have it helps to influence their new character that they're building. So it's those memories that like, oh no, I remember like I shouldn't stand near that window because I'm going to get shot through that window. And that's part of the programming that's causing them to switch on. And And you said that everyone kind of took advantage of Dolores. Everyone except for Teddy. Let's put that out there too.
But Teddy is also
a host. Yes, but I'm just saying, like, lots of people took advantage of him.
Teddy's also programmed not to take advantage of her.
But I'm just saying, like, that also the point that he didn't, and then what happens to him in season 2 is worth noting, because it's
very true.
Yeah, that's why I want to note it. It's like, yes, he's programmed to be good, just like her dad. Her dad was programmed to always be nice to her, and
true.
But she didn't do.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I meant more towards her animosity towards humans.
Yeah,
and most of their animosity or distrust, animosity, hatred, whatever towards humans is because humans come into the park, take advantage of all of the hosts or whatever, and then leave, and the hosts are left with the aftermath of that.
Just to clarify, Teddy, plays by James Marsden, is the in-story love in Westworld script love interest of Dolores. So he's
from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
Or X-Men.
Or
Sonic X-Men.
Or Hop, the Easter movie where he's friends with the CG bunny.
Was it Enchanted? Is that the one?
Also in Enchanted, yes.
Yeah.
And James Marsden, he also plays
what a career.
Plays a horse in My Little Pony.
Does he? Wait, I think you're right. He does.
He does. In the latest movie, he plays I forget his name, but he plays like the orange horse. The guy's all over the place.
That's Hitch Trailblazer. I mean, how could we not think about Hitch Trailblazer? That's bad on us.
The role he's going to win his Oscar for.
Maybe at least like a Spirit Award.
He was also in that shitty movie, The Box. Oh, God damn it!
It's just.
I never saw The Box. I don't know what.
Nobody did. You remember? Remember all those games we used to play? Those word games we used to play at the restaurants about, like, if you had someone offered you $1 million.
Oh yeah. If you,
they made a movie of that.
Oh, that's right. Yes. And they didn't cast Cream because he just like.
Okay, fine. We'll just stand here.
Thank you.
What?
Wait, hey, no. Told you shouldn't have pressed the
button. So you're just Jeff Bezos?
Yeah.
Just pressing that button.
Bam, bam,
He's
bam.
Like, it's not me though, right? Like that's.
Is anyone I know?
Yeah. No.
I don't like him that much. Fine.
Even if it's somebody, as long as it's not him, Bezos keeps slapping that button.
Hitting that button. Pop, 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 pop.
Laura Sanchez is just crying in the corner. Please stop.
I wish my tear ducts worked.
I should have gone with Leo that one time.
I could take the vape smoke. And I think you brought up a very good point about the Dolores Teddy relationship, because Teddy is nothing but dedicated to Dolores. And in season 2, Dolores uses that dedication against him and basically reprograms him. So she basically does what the humans have done to her and the other host over and over, and violates his autonomy against his will.
She lobotomizes him. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's this thing where she's been like, oh no, they treat us like these things and we mean nothing to them. And then she's like, oh, I'm gonna do the same thing. And that's where that it's a hurtful moment when you're like, oh God, Teddy. Like
it
that.
Is. And it also is but I'm doing it for the right reasons. We're doing the slippery slope of, okay, so this is how this and violence begets violence, abuse begets abuse.
Yeah. No, it's definitely messed up, because I think initially Teddy goes along with it just because he's written to love her, and I think in the show he does. But he keeps questioning all of her moves. I think she just gets annoyed. It's like, all right, we're gonna be done with this. Enough of this back talk.
I think that speaks more to you than it does to Dolores and Teddy. That you're like, you see it as like, oh yeah, he's the one in the wrong. You shouldn't ask so many damn questions.
Maybe
otherwise
shut
it's
up.
5 across the eye, Teddy.
Learn to follow the leader, asshole.
Because again, it wasn't like he wasn't threatening to go anywhere. He just was like, are you sure this is the right thing we should be doing? He does it over like 3 episodes, and at one point she's just kind of like,
okay, Homelander. Right. All right, well, just back up. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna get the elevator. Just you do your thing. Oh, my bad.
Hey, don't act like Dolores didn't do it, okay? I'm not the one. I'm not the bad guy here.
There are pitching for the bad guy a lot.